You could have heard this episode 48 hours early on our Patreon, patreon.com/IndieheadsPodcast. By joining us for as low as $1 a month, you'll receive episodes early, gain access to our Discord server, and get yourself an Indieheads podcast sticker. All of our upcoming episodes we put on our Patreon 48 hours when it hits our public podcast feeds. But if you're hearing this via our Patreon feed, we thank you so much for your support. We especially want to thank our Real Ones patrons, including Becca Etienne, Georgia Mikowski, James Boss, Holiday Kirk, Marcy Anime, Chance Holdup, Dwayne Mothman, Josiah Duncan, Jenna, Matt Cameron, Grant in the Back of My Dragula, Pablo Escobar's Hippos, Jeremy Bull, Ronaldi Newpin, Heath and Catherine, Parker Gross, Last Man on Earth 1, Andrew Grieve, Listen Up Nerds, Matthew Taylor, Breen Hare, Drew Wharton, I Like Books, Sarah Moore, Griff Ballard, Max Kibazinski, Mark Berry, Cal 50, on August 8, 2004, a tour bus belonging to the Dave Matthews Band dumped 800 pounds of human waste onto a sightseeing boat. Chris Wade, Midwest Maxwell, Kevin John, Jake Wald, Grant, Keep Autism Weird, Rob Marino, Max, Dylan, Zach, Gavin Variety Freak, and Maze Farms. To become a real one, consider supporting us for $5 a month on Patreon and receive a bonus episode every month and get a shout out at the top of the pod. Anyways though, enjoy the episode.
Oh wait, do I sound terrible right now through this internal default microphone?
Nope, it don't sound too bad.
Because I have pods too I can use.
No, the internal mic sounds fine. And also so Adobe, they have this like new thing like enhancing audio, which I've tried to use the podcast. It's the tech is not quite there for like certain things, but I used it recently because I was recording the new Patreon intro for the month. Because whenever the first episode of the month is, I record a new intro with all whatever like new names pop up and whatnot. And I forgot that I was recording on my laptop mic, and I was like, oh shit, well, let's see how this Adobe enhanced audio works. And it sounded pretty good. Like it sounded pretty close to like studio quality without sounding like too like AI or whatever. So if it sounds that bad, I'll try that out. If not, it's fine. We've dealt with worse on this very podcast. Even in our recent iteration.
I also just closed my window. I don't know if you saw me do that. Because I live on a busy street.
Yeah, and if there's any noise in the background, again, I can cut them out in the background. It's pretty easy at this point. Technology is amazing, so we should be good to go.
AI and crypto can do such amazing things. Maybe we should just talk about that for a while.
Oh God!
What do you think the Proclaimers think about the crypto boom?
And I would mint 500 apes, and I would mint 500 more.
There we go.
God damn it!
Right, just to be the man who minted 1,000 apes and still wound up bored. There we go. That's it.
Welcome everybody to the podcast. Let's get going.
Love this one.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Indieheads podcast. I would usually say that I'm your host, Matty Monroe, but I feel like I'm not really the host this episode. I'm just the person that is hitting record and letting other people cook.
You're facilitating ideas this week.
Yeah, I'm the ideas facilitator this episode, we should say, as I'm joined by Natalie, and we have two very special guests returning to the show, Alec Feldherr and Jenna. Welcome both back to the pod. And Natalie, why are we here tonight?
We are here tonight for a very convoluted playlist that I put together that I jokingly referred to as Highland New Wave Deathmatch, and that is purely because sometime over the summer, I was trying to make a playlist of a bunch of very stereotypically like Scottish and Irish new wave songs that it initially just came from like hearing In a Big Country one too many times and just being like, I wonder how many songs like this I can find that are emblematic of it. And it kind of stumbled into this like very weird cross section of these like partially very well known bands and songs from this era, and a lot of remembering some guys from this era. I do want to make the disclaimer right up top. This is not a representation of the entire Scottish people. I'm not profiling the Scottish people. I would like to put that out there right then and there. This was mostly made in preparation for a visit I made to Scotland a couple months ago. And also we have two British and Irish bands here, but I will get to why I've included them as we get along. But I would like to throw it over specifically to Alec Feldherr because I want to hear more about your own enthusiasm, because Alec, as soon as I posted this in chat, was like all over this.
Well, my number one thing is I love to remember some guys. And I get happier and happier the more I remember a guy from the 80s, you know? So, yeah, this is like a great playlist. I knew most of the songs on the original list. A couple of them I didn't know, but the ones I did know are numerous. A bunch of them are my favorites. But I don't want to spoil it because we're going to get to them eventually. But yeah, this is like what I love talking about. I love British guys. I love Scottish guys. I love them all. They're if you're European and you made new wave in the 80s, I want to hear it. In general,
you're not discerning. It's like any European guys, just like bring them to you.
It's like the worse you sing, the more British you sound. The less like intelligible the lyrics are to me and my American ears. The more I like it. That's why I love The Fall so much. Like I don't know what he's saying. I don't want to know.
And it's on my
great.
end. It's like part of why I wanted to make this is I was like, as I was combing through the like dozens and dozens of like specifically like Scottish new wave bands I was coming across of research in this, I was like, which bands sound the most like stereotypically Scottish or cartoonishly Scottish? I was looking for the people who have the wildest voices and accents, the songs that sound the most like you're trying to make guitars sound like bagpipes, just all like I love stereotypes, and this is a playlist chock full of them. I'm not making a good case for myself. I'm like immediately.
We are specifically doing Scottish heritage profiling on this episode. So we should get into it. Let's get into it. Natalie, what is our first song of the evening?
The first song is the first of the two exceptions that I have here, which is a track from Dexys Midnight Runners opening the second album of theirs, To Rye, famous for Come On Eileen. But this song is I first of all, disclaimer, I'm now close personal friends with Kevin Rowland, which is a weird sentence I never thought I would say in my life.
That's fine.
So that's one thing that has happened since I've made this playlist, and why I was currently locked down in private, because I do not want this man to know my shame. But also, this is a song that is, to me, so cartoonishly like, and earnestly so, just fully emblematic of the sound I'm looking for, that I just had to put this right at the top. This is the Celtic Soul Brothers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you...
Check it out now. The Celtic Soul Brothers.
But yeah,
I just had to get that one out of the way.
Yeah, this is the shit I am talking about, where you're just like going hard on the fiddles. You are just like doing all these like very Celtic Soul inspired like vocals. You are yelping to your heart's content, because Kevin Rowland is like one of the biggest yelpers who has ever existed on the face of this earth, and my god, I love him for it. But it's I needed something that was like big and out there and really just off the beaten path, because to me that's the most interesting thing about this whole section of new wave, is that it's so disinterested with sounding like any form of American or even like mainstream British new wave.
It's definitely got a ton of like, the band itself has a ton of like just Northern Soul influence, and like even that is so out of like the realm of other new wave bands. Dexys is a band that I need to get more into, because outside of this and Come On Eileen, I really don't know much.
Yeah, if you like those two songs, this album is... I will bully you into liking them, but that's also because, like, this playlist is also full transparency. It means to Trojan horse some of my, like, obsessive interests for about a decade, Dexys being one, and then the other exception to this playlist being another. But they're a band that is just so particularly idiosyncratic and strange and not interested in doing what everybody else was doing, that they just... I don't know, there's something so endearing about it, and like this album is like full of shit like this, where it's like really especially like based in this like specifically like Irish Celtic like soul fiddle experience, and all over the place there's all these like string instruments and like horns and shit, and just stuff that is like nothing else in like 80s new wave. But yeah, I think you would dig it.
Yeah, this is a little bit of an omission in my my library here, but yeah, I respect Dexys because of the Paul Weller connection. Mick Talbot, the guy, he was in the band, I forget when, but he also was in the Style Council, and I'm a big Style Council guy. When dudes wear sweaters, you know it's gonna be good. Like that's a whole separate conversation.
Yeah. The other reason Dexys have eternal respect is they were into ska influences before it was cool. They were like, the start of Dexys was like pure ska influence. Like they were right alongside like the Specials and shit. It was a time.
And that's why I like new wave as a whole, because it's just so many different people and styles and like coming together into this new wave. And it's like, it does have a very distinct sound. Like you can hear a song from the 80s and be like, oh, that's some 80s pop. But there's just it's just the deeper and deeper you go, and this playlist actually really is great for that, because there's a lot of different directions this goes through. We'll get into it more when, you know, more people come up, but like first couple of songs here are like very northern folk influence, not northern folk influence, northern soul influence. They have a lot of roots in like just like soul music and, you know, and folk music and that kind of stuff. And as we get on later, it gets proggier, and like, you know, we have prog guys doing new wave. We have soft boys doing new wave. We have weirdos. It's great. Everybody came together in this new wave.
Yeah, that was one of the things that came up for me was when I think the first iteration I had of this playlist had this song, the next one, In a Big Country, and I was like, I need to figure out how to get from point A to point B, because like these first two are so like of a particular kind of sound that was coming out of like Scotland and Ireland around this time, and like the rest of it is like very clearly like working within all these other sounds that are just not even present here. But yeah, I don't really have much to riff on here. I love Dexys. Dexys is just one of the best bands, and also just like one of the most eclectic things. Like I said, they went from like very kind of like stack stuff to like this kind of like blue-eyed soul, all the way up to just essentially doing this like kind of piano lounge spoken word stuff on their the last album in their heyday, Don't Stand Me Down, which is really fucking incredible. But yeah, I think we should probably keep moving into a sound that is to me the most Scottish of the Scottish. If we're talking about like big Scottish bands, like we have to talk about the Proclaimers. And like, I'm not talking about 500 Miles. I'm not talking about I'm On My Way, though both those songs are excellent. I'm talking about the song that to me is like the most Scottish of their whole ilk, which is Letter from America. I did not realize.
And you know
this...
how you know it's Scottish? It's because they just name a whole bunch of places in Scotland.
No, the bridge of this song is so fucking good, and where they're just like naming off areas. I did not realize this song is like really deeply political. Like, it is like about Scottish emigration, and like specifically like the way that Scottish people were like forced to emigrate from the Highlands by like wealthy landlords, and like basically how Thatcher fucked everybody over. I love these crazy ass Scottish boys. They're so full of soul. They're also twin brothers. This is a twin magic band.
I was gonna mention that because I'm looking at the screen that Matty's sharing with us right now, and you have the album cover, which is them looking right at each other, and then you have the picture of them now, and they look exactly alike.
Yeah.
Like scary. Like they look like Scottish Mark Mothersbaugh. Like I don't know if that change, like being Scottish changes anything, but like they just kind of look like Mark Mothersbaugh. There's two of them.
You know that if like fucking Jonathan Lipnicki grew up and was still like doing acting, this would be like the pinnacle of his career. It would just be him acting against himself in a Proclaimers movie. Like they look like child actors grown up. I don't know. I can't explain it.
They just have like Haley Joel Osment face,
Yes.
where like the rest of his body grew, but his face just kind of stayed the same.
You know what it is? They look like Kieran Culkin in Home Alone. Like how he looks.
Yes.
Worried, yeah. They look worried in this picture, like for real.
Yeah.
They look like, oh man, we still gotta walk 1,000 miles. Like
This is what happens when you're burdened by
I mean,
the
the
long
pussy's
history.
good, but is it that
yeah,
good?
like
What a long history of being burdened by like Scottish subjugation does to an MFR.
they should put out like a Bowie like Black Star style album when they're like, you know, or like when one of them is getting close to the end, and they can call it Sunset on Leith. That'd be pretty dark, but like that'd be kind of sick.
And then the follow-up is one of them harmonizing with like archive vault tracks from the other.
That would just be sad.
This is what have I done?
This is here's the part where they start talking about where they're from.
Yes. I should also probably mention where all these bands Proclaimers famously from Leith, just outside of Edinburgh. One thing is, very few of these bands, if any of them, are actually from the Scottish Highlands. It was just an easier shorthand. Please don't be mad at me. I have some of my best friends are Scottish.
Wait, what's because I'm currently, I don't want to spoil too much, but eventually we're gonna get to the Outback New Wave Deathmatch.
Oh.
Which will be the Oceania, that whole area New Wave Deathmatch. So I guess Outback would be the equivalent of Highlands for. I could be completely off. I know nothing about the world.
People are from places, and it's fucked up.
Yeah.
People are from places. All right. Yeah, that was another one that I really didn't know prior to this list.
Really?
I really only know 1,000 miles. 500 miles. 1,000 miles is Vanessa Carlton.
Yeah, I knew of this one for a while just because I knew it as like a kind of like I remember hearing it somewhere in my days on the internet as almost kind of like a like gag song, and I like listened back to it for this playlist. I'm like, no, this is a deeply like emotional, like moving thing.
It's moving.
Proclaimers, they got the juice. Those twins, they're bringing out the best of each other.
Mm-hmm. I like that the album cover from what I'm assuming is like the Greatest Hits record, Finest. It's clearly from like the same photo shoot as This Is the Story, because they're both wearing like same color shirt and the same like color glasses. And they're doing a soy face.
Yeah, I was going to say they're soy facing on
They're
it.
coming right at us.
You're screaming at the camera.
Yeah. I would. What? I mean, I didn't get a chance to make the joke at the beginning, but like the Proclaimers are maybe the most comprehensible Scottish people out there. Otherwise, I mean, most Scottish, again, as someone of Scottish heritage, the accent is one of the thicker ones out there. For like English speaking countries, it's a very, very thick accent, and these are some very thick accented boys. But you know, I can still hear everything pretty clearly, except when they start like mentioning like direct Scottish stuff like towns, and it's like that's not like Meathville. That's not a real town. Come on, get out of here.
I kept thinking
Miami,
they were
though,
talking
that's
about
real.
a drug because it sounds like meth.
See, I'm
Irvine, Methil, Irvine, Bathgate, Linwood.
Irvine and Linwood, aren't they both in California?
They
too?
are.
Yeah. See, I'm from Long Island, so I can't comment on other people's.
What if the Proclaimers were
towns.
like what if the Proclaimers, this was like a fucking like Rachel Dolezal situation where they're actually from California and they're just like faking Scottish valor because they, for some reason, they thought that's just the way we're gonna have our career, like we'll do the fake accents, we'll move, we'll forge some papers.
Well, what's
we're
1,000
just waiting
miles
for, like,
from Scotland? What is there? What is
the middle
in
of
any
the
direction?
Atlantic Ocean.
Fuck, that's where they're from.
Or what about the other direction?
Probably somewhere in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they could, because if they're going to walk there, they might as well steal.
This is like an audio version of a GeoGuessr game right now.
Like,
all right, what's 500 miles from the birthplace of the Proclaimers?
Where could they have gone? Like that could be a whole episode. Is just discussing different places. Like, where is this girl from?
Where in the world are the Proclaimers?
God, that would be, again, we're TV executives. I know, again, the actor strike is over, the writer strike is over, but there's lots of delays and stuff, and we can cook this up for you real quick to air in your programs.
I'm delighted to tell you that there are plenty of articles discussing where precisely is 1,000 miles from Leith, Scotland.
Oh.
Okay, let's see. All right. Proclaimers. Okay. Do you have any of these articles that we can
hold
read?
on. There's an article from the Scotsman that I will send in chat. Hold on.
See if I can.
Okay, I'm putting it in the Discord chat.
Okay. Let's see. All right.
Wait, that's right there. It's right there. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. All right. Where could the Proclaimers walk 1,000 miles just to fall down at your door? Journey from Leith mapped. Let's see. Of course, they would walk 500 miles. Now, here's the thing.
We
got the radius. All right. See, 500 miles. There is land they can get to, and they're they go to Iceland, one of the Sweden, one of those fucking countries.
Why did I think 1,000 miles was a lot larger than that? How big is the Earth?
It's real big.
God, I love this. I love this photoshopped picture of them in the Netherlands, where it's them walking through a field of tulips, but the scale is just wildly off. So either they're tiny or the tulips are huge.
It's the Netherlands.
This is the poster for the show. This would be like what the poster for the show is, like the totally bad Photoshop job. Like,
oh yeah,
you have the text over it, like 500 miles.
Yeah,
they should.
God, these guys look like maybe it's because I am Scottish, but these guys look like they could be like my uncles. Like they look like my uncles. Which, by the way, this is going to be the episode photo. We're making this the episode photo. By the way,
we need to retire Cajun Matty and make Scottish Matty a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I see. The thing is, I want to do that so badly, but like the accent, I have to do way more research on the accent. I think I could pull it off with the right amount of research, but there's just not a whole lot of like Scots representation in like American media, and there should be.
You know what you gotta do? You gotta start watching Taskmaster. I have been hooked on Taskmaster lately, and it is a crash course on all the wonderful accents of not just the British Isles, but the Commonwealth and beyond. So there's like a few phrases that are just like stuck in my mind in a Scottish accent because of one particular contestant or another. Particularly in a recent season, Frankie Boyle was one of the contestants, and he said a line which I have thought about on a regular basis since, which is, if you got a blowjob off Superman, he might suck you inside out.
Oh. That was a good accent.
All right. That's pretty good. Yeah.
That was pretty solid.
I was gonna say, I think we should just if we do Scottish Matty, it should be just Jenna dubbing for me. Like Jenna just comes up with the bits and I just lip sync them like I'm on top of the pops. Like I think that could work out real well. Okay, let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
We got a bunch more songs.
Now it's time for me to cook.
Yeah, this one is one of my favorite discoveries that I was not familiar with before, and this is the magic of doing research on the dumbest thing you could imagine, because sometimes you will just strike utter gold, and this, in my heart, is like one of like the best songs ever written. This is Somewhere in My Heart by Aztec Camera, and I will let Alec Feldherr cook.
I think this song could save the Netflix corporation. I have a list of songs on my phone that I've been working on that I think could, like how like Running Up That Hill was like a huge thing. Like, I feel like this could be not as big as that, because like everyone already loved that song, but I feel like this could have a little put in the right moment somewhere in my heart, in a Netflix show. It's like, those shows on Netflix where it's like, they're always British, and it's like, it's like the main character is some like teenager who's like suicidal, and then there's a girl who's like, oh, I really love you, and he's like, I don't care about love. This world is dark. I'm a dark soul. And she's like, oh, but I want you to learn to love. Then this song plays, and it's like dark. But this is like a kind of like a respite, like a break from that. But yeah, Roddy Frame, beautiful soul, soulful ass white boy, through and through. This album, first album, Tony Mansfield production on that first album, fire. Oblivious, perfect song. This song, perfect song. Huge R&B influence on this one. The melodies, the soul, selling it. Those backing vocals. Oh my gosh, I love this song. I love this song.
Two things. One, Alec, I am very glad we have your genuine attention, but this is very, like, I'm getting the full Tim Heidecker, I think you should leave effect here. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. Second, we're about to hit the greatest moment in, like, pop song history. People say the Frank Ocean, like, Nights thing, like, oh, it's the exact halfway point of the album. The exact halfway point of this song, it fucking shoots off into the fucking stratosphere with this, like, key modulation into this insane fucking guitar solo, and it blows my fucking mind, and
he shreds.
I have not fucking gotten over it. Like, this first time I heard this, I like wanted to cry tears of joy. I was just like overcome with emotion of just being like, this is it. This is the beauty that New Wave can bring to us. This is like the Scottish experience is a beautiful experience. I think I'm Scottish now.
Today we're all somewhere in my heart is a Scotsman. And that Scotsman is probably Roddy Frame. Yeah, he's good. He shreds. Like, he's like an underrated guitar player in general. I mentioned Oblivious before, but the guitar solo on that one is insane. And it's acoustic, and he's like an acoustic shredder, which is rare. God, that's insane. Two things I should mention as we're keeping this like kind of like pinning people into the map. Great sax solo, by the way. East Kilbride is where Aztec Camera is from. Not I believe not also there, but it is like not in the Highlands, but like on a raised plateau, according to my very deep research on Wikipedia.org. And of the bands that we've covered here, the ones that I'm like unfamiliar with, I think this is the one that like the discovery of this band, along with the one that I'll mention at the end of the show, and we do like our kind of like footnotes on bands we're not talking about here, is the one that I've been like most inclined to like get into. Just like I need to know everything about Aztec Camera after like hearing this song. This song makes me believe in love again. Yes.
And love is the name of the album, so clearly they're doing something right.
He just could write great songs, and like, I don't want to say that's underrated, but it's just like he's like every song is good, at least good. Some of them are great, like this one's great. A bunch off the first album are great, but he is just all around good. Beginnings of like Sophistopop, that whole thing right here. Well, not right here. I would say the earlier albums are a little bit more, because like Sophistopop was happening by this point. But yeah, it's just one of my favorite bands I've found in the last couple of years for sure. Like that first album, I can't neo acoustic music. Neo acoustic they took acoustics and they made it new.
Neo acoustic is if the guy from The Matrix had an acoustic guitar.
If Keanu Reeves just did his own riff on like Carrie and Lowell or some shit.
Yeah. What would have been a song that he would have played like because that The Matrix soundtrack is Wonderwall. That would have probably been it, because that was new then.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, what else is on that soundtrack? Like Dragula,
Rage Against the Machine.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there like an Underworld song on that soundtrack?
Is there?
There's definitely like some like. I don't know.
Let's see what Spotify pulls up for the Matrix soundtrack real quick.
The Matrix OST.
The Matrix OST.
They should make a Scottish Matrix.
Marilyn Manson, Beat Manifesto, The Prodigy, Rob Zombie, of course, Deftones.
Yo.
Rammstein, and then Rage Against the Machine, Wake Up.
Oh wait, no, I'm
about to piss on this guy's face.
Oh God, yeah. I said I wasn't going to say a whole lot this episode. This is a good song. I like it. I think it is like the nice mix of like the more like new wave stuff and like the emerging sophistopop stuff at the same time. Like it's a nice mesh of the two. So I like it.
I didn't have many notes on this song besides just love it, love the guitar solo. Yeah, it's just a good tune.
Yeah,
it's joyous.
This is unfortunately not really an episode of riffs outside of the Proclaimer stuff. This is mostly just like this is the Scotty Good Songs playlist.
Yeah, this is just I like to joke around. I love to laugh. I like fun. I'm willing to go as far as to say that I like fun, and I've said that on this podcast before in the They Might Be Giants episode, but. No time for fun now. Only time for facts. I'm here to teach everybody today. We're learning about the Aztec camera. We're going to learn about Joseph K a little bit. We're going to talk about another band later on that completes the holy triumvirate of like jangle pop Scottish bands. I've completely lost the plot here. But yeah, Aztec camera is too good. They're just like one of those bands that like once you get into, it's like, where has this been all my life? It's so good.
I feel that way off of only one song, so I'm very glad to hear that my intuition in including them here was totally right.
Yeah, can't recommend Highland Hard Rain enough. Actually, yeah, that's the first album is Highland.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
That was the one that kept popping up. Yeah. I think it is time to move on to our next song, the one female Scott appearance on this playlist after I removed another one from it, but I wanted some girl Scott representation.
Natalie Marlin hates women? Question mark.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that eventually.
Alec Feldherr has pulled up deep receipts.
Yeah, no, because because there's two very important Scottish women I'd love to talk about today.
Yeah, I know. We already have the Strawberry Switchblade erasure will be talked about. I'm sorry, Alec.
That's like bi erasure too, I think. Yeah, so like we're really losing today.
This episode is basically me presenting my cancellation to the listening public on a platter. It's take your pick.
I mean, again, like you're getting canceled right now. Jackie is getting canceled by the Miley Cyrus fans.
You got canceled by Snail Mail.
I got canceled by the Snail Mail fans. Although I had my revenge. I did have my revenge, and it was very sweet.
You did.
So I got them back eventually. But our next song is Altered Images. I Could Be Happy.
Yes.
So let's just get it.
What are the more deeply fascinating songs to me in
Song's
that?
So weird.
This song is so fucking weird. This is an extended version of it that I like a lot more than the single version, just because the buildup is just so fascinating to me. This very kind of like minimalist, pseudo almost kind of like techno pop, post punk like guitar like tone thing. I don't know if Alec has any insight into this, but every single version I could find of this longer version has this weird skip in the middle of it.
Okay, I was wondering about that. I was like, was that like a glitch with my I assumed that was like a glitch with like my internet or something. But no.
Literally every version I found of this song has that, and I have no fucking clue if that is like the way that the song was presented or not, and I need to find like a vinyl rip or some shit.
I have the record here.
It's like a 5.5 minute song, and the vocals don't come in until like over 3 minutes in.
Yes.
And when they do come in, there's like this record skip effect on the first word.
That's
and, like,
the I part. Yeah, no, that's just part of it. That's just
Okay, thank you for getting to the bottom of it.
I have the record here. I've listened to it many times. That's just part of the song.
You know what this sounds like the fucking Tiffany cover of I Think We're Alone. Like that's what kind of like gets to me is like it's like
Tiffany I Think We're Alone mixed with like New Order Blue Monday.
Yeah.
The kick drum has like a very similar pattern. I was listening to this on my way home and I noticed that myself, the Blue Monday connection. This song, I think the best way I describe this song to people is jarring. Like the whole thing is just jarring to me, like, and it's great, like, and it's not like scary, but like it's just like, yeah, you're right, it's not a build-up, it's just like different parts. It feels like an extended like 12-inch single version of a shorter song.
Yeah.
But that's just the song, and I love that. And then once the vocals hit later on, I guess I'll mention it again, but there is just something so off to me about the vocal like production, I guess the word would be here for this. Like it just sounds jarring and strange to me in an interesting and fascinating way, and I think that's great. It's like this is the kind of song you play at like an 80s new wave post-punk dance night. Like this is a really good grooving song to dance to.
Yeah, her vocals, I'm gonna be taking a moment to scan the Wikipedia page as I brought it up here. Claire Grogan's vocals here, just, it's something so interesting to me because they're like just kind of atonal enough to stand out, but it's also like the repetition is like really hypnotic in this. There we go. But it's just, there's, especially when there's the harmonized thing there, there's something about the production that just feels a little jagged and rough and weird. The Wikipedia article I'm seeing does refer to this as a dance mix, so I do wonder if that is essentially how they did it on the album, because it fits in better to the context of the album than just the like 3-minute single version. Also, the album cover is deeply perplexing to me. Like it looks like they just slapped this together in like 3 minutes by just like literally cutting out a band photo, like scrawling on a piece of like construction paper, and then like taking a photo, and that was it.
It almost looks like it looks like the rough draft or like the concept art for like the knife shaking the habitual. Like here's kind of what we're going for, and you know we'll let you kind of take this concept and make it more artistic from there, because you know we just make the music, we don't make the art. So here's the idea, and of course it's done with like confetti. Like the pictures, like we got a guy in the suit who looks like a lost cast member of Kids in the Hall. We got nerd.
He looks like he's like
here.
the box office. He looks like a box office person in like a movie theater in 1983.
Yeah, and we got a stockbroker here, or young stockbroker, like
80 stockbroker,
like a Jordan 80 stockbroker with the fucking suspenders. We have a original trans mask representation, or
he looks like Owen Pallett. Holy shit!
Yeah. This is definitely like trans mask goals right here, this person, and then just a woman here with a bad haircut. I'm just gonna say it, bad haircut.
Hey,
so that's the 80s for you.
Hey, bad now. Back then, that was probably popping. Everyone was probably loving that. That's the altered image.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Alec, I gotta say something. There's a scene. I can't remember if it's the Sandlot or the sequel. I want to say it's the Sandlot, when they're doing like the end thing where they're like, hey, here's where everybody on the team is now. One of the things is like, oh, this guy, he got really into 70s and no one ever saw him again. I feel like that's you in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would just time travel. At some point, you're going to travel back into like 1979 and just be able to and just keep doing time loops throughout like the early new wave era.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, like it's like a butterfly effect kind of thing, where like I'll go back in time and like I'll stop like Ian Curtis from killing himself or something, and like the entire, like I'll just be like super jovial to him or something, and just be like, there might be something worth living for, something like that, and yeah, and then we'll become like good friends.
Very bold stance to take. Like,
oh, I think I'd be friends with a lot of these people.
I could have saved Ian Curtis.
I think me and Lou Reed would have been great friends. I think he would have gotten along with me just fine.
Yeah,
we're gonna have an alternate version of Losing My Edge that happens when the rift is there, where it's like I was there when Ian Curtis I don't ever do that. You're never gonna make a dime.
Like I took off, like I removed the idiot off of his turntable and I put on like the Cars or something, and I'm like, let's see, life is fun. Like,
that's all you needed.
It's just what he needed.
Yeah, Alec, it's just the fucking episode of Always Sunny where they're trying to convince fucking Bill Ponderosa to not kill himself. Like, that's Alec.
No, you don't get it. You don't get it, man. Things change.
It's
we just gotta mention how insane of a statement saying I think me and Lou Reed would be really good friends. That's like the Alec Feldherr equivalent of me saying I could pull Halsey. Like, except I say that when I'm 2 beers in, and you say that dead sober.
No, because if I was drinking, I'd rap that. Like, that's the thing.
I do want to point out, we started this podcast before we were recorded, like talking about who on this playlist is dead. I thought it was just to sidestep any jokes, and now we've like immediately just launched ourselves directly onto the minefield of like one of the most famous dead people in the scene.
Ian Curtis. Lou Reed.
The guy from oh wait, we haven't gotten to any of these guys yet, so I can't.
David Bowie.
That's so true. Prince.
Michael Jackson.
The Big Bopper.
The Big Bopper.
And no more.
And no more. Real quick before we move on, to put the pin on your map, altered images from the great city of Glasgow, where I spent a week. Just so nobody says I'm making assumptions about the Scottish people. I spent a week in Scotland. It's cool. Mm-hmm. It's fine. I'm ready to move on to this next track, which is to me one of the more surprising ones. I didn't know this song beforehand, but I knew of this band. This is Skids, who are otherwise known as mostly a punk band, but Masquerade is the track I've pulled here. Yeah, I knew of the Skids purely because when you are 15 years old in 2009, The Saints Are Coming is the coolest fucking song in the world to you. And that is just like a full-on like punk song, and the like culture shock I had hitting play on this, and it's just basically like a fun like bloopy bloppy, like we're just having like fun dance moves with our silly accents new wave song. Was just, it threw me. I like the song a lot. This song is very fun. It is very funny that they do the little thing that they do with the drums at the end of this, where like they're basically like doing the like quarter notes on like I think it's like the snare and the tom are basically the exact same ending as The Saints Are Coming. They just have one move and they just do it over and over again.
This style of like glam, like this is like firmly in new wave time territory, but like it's definitely more akin to like glam punk, closer to like the Bowie stylings, and like I love that kind of stuff. This is a great song. Skids are another band that I don't know a lot by, but when I was doing the research on the playlist, I found out that one of my guys was involved, Bill Nelson, and it all came together beautifully. And
who is Bill Nelson for the listeners that may not know?
You just
AKA
gotta
me.
You just gotta get into him. Everybody should get into him.
He's somebody as part of a rock group called Bebop Deluxe.
Mm-hmm. Prog glam rock, just like artists that kind of sounded like Bowie, but like were not, like didn't have the same juice.
I see.
But like he goes on to do like a bunch of solo stuff that's also amazing and like fits on this playlist entirely. Like just totally weirdo, new wave. He was listening to like all these new bands, and like Skids are one of them. This band totally influenced him. Mm-hmm. And I love going the back and forth, like this thing influences this thing, and then that thing now goes back and influences the first thing. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Skids, I need to get more into them in general. But this song is awesome, and it sounds like a Bill Nelson song. So if you guys like this song, Red Noise, Sound on Sound, definitely worth your time.
It's so funny that the thing that I'm learning from this playlist is that Alec and I had no overlaps before this playlist started, and like all the things I threw on here that I didn't know were things that he knew. All the things that I knew were things that he didn't know, and it's a learning experience. We're coming together. We're learning a lot. This is an educational playlist about the Scottish experience. The Skids are from Dunfermline, which I am being told by Wikipedia is in Fife on the northern shore of, I'm not making this up, the Firth of Forth.
Mm. Yes.
The Firth of Forth. But yeah.
Sorry, it's just hard the Firth of Forth. The Firth of Forth is
I like that you immediately launched into it with like a Muppets bit there.
The Firth of Forth is I don't know. We're recording this episode a little later than we usually would, so I'm a little loopy right now.
I had 2 drinks before this playlist in order to not necessarily be so stuck up about the Scottish experience. It's these Scots, they like to have fun. I think that's the moral of this playlist, is we're here to learn about how much fun the Scots can have breaking it down. It's and Skids, great band, great track, very fun. It sounds like it could be in like a party scene of like a Scottish coming of age movie from the 80s. I don't know. If we are talking about bands that know how to get down, though, I am deeply sorry and grateful to my listeners that we got to introduce you to what by far the strangest band on this list, and part of this was also an excuse to just Trojan horse this into a playlist. Do we want to get into Charlton Heston by Stump by chance?
I think we have to at this point.
Let's do it.
I'm so ready.
Yeah, when I was listening to this playlist for the first time, when I got to this song, I just messaged Natalie. Hey Natalie, what the fuck is this?
Stump is an incredible band who are basically. I talked a bit about how Dexys like sound like nobody else, and like Stump are also like one of those bands that sound like no one else. They have like a little bit of like the like Beefheart Zappa touch, but they almost kind of, to me, what they remind me of is they're very much like almost kind of like a much weirder and like before its time like Primus, but that's like very deeply like rooted in like Irish sounds. Like they're really rooted in a lot of like fretless bass stuff. This is one of the more sedate songs from them, and it being like very rooted in like sampler shit is part of the reason why. But like if you get into literally any of their other stuff, it is just this really frenetic, oftentimes like really playing fast and loose with like notation and like time signature stuff, where like their bassist and drummer are just like going all over the map. Their most famous song is a song called Buffalo that makes fun of American tourists with a chorus that goes, and I quote, big bottom swing, swing-a-linga.
Oh, wait, you're forgetting the best part of that song, which is the bridge, which is, how much is the fish? How much is the fish? How much is the chips? Does the fish have chips? How much is the fish? How much is the chips? Does the fish have chips? Does the fish have chips?
Proto Gremlin.
I'm always saying that, so like he knew.
Famously, one of the that song specifically, famously part of the like Fame C86 compilation, and it is like far and away the weirdest cut on that. Like most of it is like pretty traditional, like post-punk bands and bands that you would know of in that scene, and then that song hits in the middle of it like a fucking brick to the face. It's really great. But yeah, let me read off some of the like many titles of several Stump songs, because I think this is what we need in order to get a clear sense of what the band is like. They have songs like Tupperware Stripper, Orgasm Way. Let's see what's here. A Fierce Pancake is the name of their one and only studio album, because it did not sell well at all. It like, yeah, just like really, really flopped. Let's see here. Although Mike Patton says that this is one of his favorite albums of all time.
I'm sure Les Claypool was listening to this. I'm absolutely sure of it. Yeah, when you said the Primus thing, that's a connection I never really thought of, but like you're so right. Like it's the atonality of it all is like, and how it comes together is what's so amazing. Like, yeah.
And part of the reason why this is kind of cusp is, if I remember correctly, most of the members in the band are British, and it's primarily Mick Lynch, who's the vocalist, who has, in his heyday, one of the greatest hairdos I've ever seen, which is just basically like a little poof just at the center of his hair and nothing else.
All right, hold up. I gotta see this for myself. I was pulling up photos of Fred Willard, and I think you should leave, because that's what the song sounds like. The sketch where he's playing the Rube Goldberg organ device, wherever the fuck that's called. Let's check out this hairdo again. Bad 80s hair, as we previously mentioned. I love bad 80s hair. Obviously, Flock of Seagulls. That's your number one. Like
more Bill.
Like perfect 80s. Oh wow. Okay, yeah. is that
yep.
him?
Yep, that is Mick Lynch himself.
Bro, at that point, just shave it off, man. Just give up that hairline at that point. But I guess this was the 80s, and if you shave it, you might look like a skinhead, and it's like that can have some connotations there. But even then,
that's the Stump.
That is the Stump.
That's the Stump right there.
She Stump.
The photo from there specifically is the music video for Buffalo, which is like one of the most cartoonishly like low cost, like low budget music videos ever, where it's just them in a white room just kind of playing along and stomping along, and at one point Mick Lynch eats a fake fish.
This is that I was gonna mention this small bit. The voice you just heard was Jules Holland of the Jules Holland Show, and
oh shit,
and Squeeze as well. Indieheads' favorite new wave band,
beloved.
But his comments on this band are just so funny to me because it's so passive aggressive. He's like introducing. He's got his own unique accent, so I can't do the Jules voice, but like. He's like introducing them like, we made a video for this band because it's important to make videos for new bands. And we're going to show it to you so we can show you new music. And it's like, and then this song comes on. And you're either completely sold. How much is the chips? Does the fish have chips? How much is the fish? How much is the chips?
I think we need to have Isaac. This guy's got to take a paternal test for Isaac from Black Oak Junior Road. I think we gotta figure this one out.
That was the moment where I was sold. Like right there.
Okay, you did say this. Okay, this is definitely a cheap video, but like it looks like they shot this on film, so it can't be that cheap.
I mean, that was the only option at the time.
I mean, at this point, there was tape. We watched some pretty bad fucking videos on MTV days before the MTV craze.
Yes,
Wait, hang on. His haircut. I know where I recognize his haircut from. There was a professional wrestler in the late 2000s, early 2010s named Tyson Kidd that has this exact same haircut. Not this photo.
Oh my God.
He's got the little. It's like a little crown. Like. It's like the little crown here.
Oh my
Like
god.
that's what he has. It's like it's like a fucking Peanuts strip, like ass haircut, you know? Like a Peanuts character would have this haircut. And if you try to translate it to real life, it would be horrifying, as it is horrifying in real life, as we're seeing right now.
It's like in comic strips or something where like babies will be drawn with like one curly hair coming off of the top of their head.
Right. That's exactly it.
He's got the Simpsons hairline. Like,
yeah. Right, he looks like an Archie character if they like tried to translate like the exact like squiggles in the comics to like Riverdale or some shit.
Yeah. You open up fucking Jughead's stupid beanie and that's what's actually in there.
No, again, this playlist or this podcast in general, I should say, is about remembering some guys, and like this is as a purveyor of weird guys throughout my years, I felt a need to document Stump on the record, because when else am I going to get a chance to bring them up? Stump rules, one of the greatest bands that does not take themselves seriously whatsoever. All their shit is very good. If you like weird, freaky guys who play fretless basses, absolutely go for them. There's not much material. You could get through it in like about a couple hours.
Also, do we like touch on at all like the lyrical content of the song?
No, we didn't.
Let's talk about Buffalo, which also has beautiful lyrics.
Yeah, so like Charlton Heston, it's like about the 10 plagues of Egypt as far as I could discern.
Yeah. Yeah, it's specifically like tying in like 10 Commandment shit, and like because Charlton Heston played Moses in that 10 Commandments adaptation, it has the incredible refrain, Charlton Heston put his vest on.
Oh, there's a music video.
There is a music video.
Oh god.
And like this also explains, you know, the baffling sound effect that is just
frogs
recurring throughout the entire thing. It's supposed to be frogs, I guess, because of, you know, the plague of frogs. But to me, it just sounded like So have you listened to like the new Matmos album that just came out?
No, but I
think I know
what you're getting at.
Samples like that old like Smithsonian Folkways recording of like speech after the removal of the larynx, and it's just like you know a recording of like a guy, you know, speaking after his voice box has been removed, essentially just by like burp talking the entire time, and that is exactly what that frog sound effect sounds like to me.
Yeah, this video is like the Buffalo video in that it's just them doing the song in front of us like a background, but you can see that the budget's a little bit higher because they actually have a background and they have the frogs.
Props.
Yeah, the frogs.
Yeah, this is kind of like the Mexican radio video if they had like $5 less in the budget.
I do want to point out some of my other favorite lyrics in here, because it is a pretty like, it's their own weird idiosyncratic way of like doing the 10 Commandments, but it has lyrics like the recipe for egg fried lice, lights camel action. My favorite line in here is "Thou shalt not bonk thy neighbor's wife." It's they're a bunch of quirked up British and Irish boys. I can't imagine anyone not loving this band. They're some of the most fascinating people I've ever seen.
The fact that this guy is a singer in like a new wave band and not like a Coen Brothers regular character actor is fucked up.
I highly recommend watching. There's like 2 videos of them from like right before he died. They did one
died?
final. Yeah, he died.
He passed away in 2015. Yeah.
This one's for Mick Lynch and Fred Willard.
R.I.P. Mick Lynch, you beautiful human.
There's the one video of them at their final performance. Would end up being their final performance, and it's a great video of this and Buffalo. And then there's also a video. I don't know if it's fake or not. It could very well be fake, but I don't know enough about these people that it could be very true. But there's a video of the 3 of the band members being like, we want to get the band back together, so we're going to go look for Mick. And they're like, okay. And then the whole video is just them going through the city into random bars looking for Mick, and like he's with one of these bars. Like, has anyone seen him? Like, and then they eventually find him smoking a cigarette outside the bar. Like,
yeah, I would say that would be staged, except for the fact that everything I've heard about like how close a weird Irish way of life is like that just seems like fact. Like I've been reading like shit about like how like tight-knit Irish communities are, and I fully believe that shit after that. Like, I fully believe that if you just ask around, you could find somebody at a bar on a random weekday that you haven't seen in like 30 years.
And if it's real, then that's honestly one of the most beautiful reunions I can imagine. Like, we're just gonna go to the pub and find our guy.
Yeah, it's an emotional moment because like this band did not record anything since like 1988, and like right before Mick passed, they like had that whole reunion video. They did a couple of like live shows, I believe, in just some random pubs, like not even like official venues, just like in pubs.
And they weren't like announced, like they were like surprise shows.
Yeah. So it was literally just for like the people who like were part of those communities. They released like a compilation album with like some like rarities and shit and stuff from like the EPs, and then that was it. Like that was all they ever did. There was like a whole like gap of time where like it seems like they just weren't really in touch. It's a beautiful experience. This is Stump is a living testament to the power of Irish community.
And,
I find it very deeply moving personally.
No, like, and you watch the video from the last show, and it's like all of these people. It's a small crowd. It's a full room, but it's a small room. But like all of these people are here to see, this weird thing going on, 30 years later, and it's so cool to me. Like, great band, underrated band. If you want to get into the weirder side of like I guess I don't want to call it experimental side of new wave, because it's not. It's just like it's closer to like no wave than anything else.
It's a little quirky.
It's quirky.
A little more quirky than your average new wave.
It's like if the guys from Contortions were like a little bit like sillier, which is cool, which I dig.
Again, I love my silly guys who just don't take themselves seriously at all. Like this is a testament to the fact that you could be silly with it and still be like really fucking banger musicians who know your way around just the wildest ass ways of like using your instruments.
And it's like they're like playing three, like the three guys are just playing three completely separate things.
Yes.
Like they barely work, but that's what makes it work, and that's what's so great about this band. Yeah,
we're dealing a lot in harmony, and there's beauty in disharmony and atonality. But yeah, I think it is perhaps time that we get back into the Scottish heart of the matter. I'm about to like blow probably Matty and Jenna's mind, because I did not know this before I pulled this up. We're getting into the Rattler by Goodbye Mr. MacKenzie, a band that a certain Shirley Manson was in before Garbage.
No kidding.
I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either, because this song is like very under listened to. Like this was one of the polls that I had to find, where I was like, at a certain point I was just rummaging through every Scottish band I could find, and I came across this song, and I was like, this to me is very similar to Somewhere in My Heart, in that there's something about Scottish new wave that is very deeply emotional and like romantic and sentimental in a way that like I feel like a lot of like American and British new wave is kind of lost on. And like, I don't know, there's some like really deep stirring emotion happening in this song that I find really gorgeous. Goodbye Mr. MacKenzie from Bathgate specifically, again another near Edinburgh band.
Famously shouted out in the Proclaimers.
This band is like barely on streaming at all. Like, in the playlist I saw, like you had to get this track from like a compilation of Scottish music from the 70s and 80s, because their discography is basically non-existent on streaming.
Those are the best bands, though. Those are the best ones. It's like, no, because like
that's Stump,
yeah,
baby.
Everyone forgets about these guys so much that like nobody thinks to like, oh, like we could probably put these bands on Spotify and someone will listen to them.
It's very funny too, because the like little keyboard part that Shirley Manson is doing here does sound very much like major key version of like the bit Only Happy When It Rains. Now that I think about it, I do want to go over one thing in the Wikipedia entry that I do think is important that Matty just kind of glossed over when I was looking at it on his screen. In early career, the band began when Martin Metcalf, the singer, moved on from his first band, Teenage Dog Orgy.
That sounds like a good band. I would probably really like that band. Hold on, let me look that up.
Yes.
Actually, I'm not going to Google that.
Yeah, maybe on an incognito mode.
Yeah,
or
that'll
like,
probably get you put on a list.
yeah. God damn it.
That's a really
Fucking-
good band name. I will not
They were
lie.
not prepared for what the NSA was about to do to that band.
Yeah. Like, that's like
even
the
just reading this
opposite
Wikipedia
of
page is
being
gonna
a
be on a
band
list.
called like Asia or something. It's like nobody could have foreseen that, like, oh yeah, like people are gonna have to look up our band. Like no one's like Chicago or like Asia or like Boston. And then you got bands like Teenage Dog Orgy, which are also equally unlookupable, unsearchable.
Matty, in the members section in that info box to the right, I just want you to click on Big John Duncan, because that man is the epitome of what I would expect a man named Big John to look like.
He does, yeah. I mean, duh. Like, Big John Duncan? Yep, of course he looks like that.
I would also like to point out, maybe we should have been looking through the member sections of all of these, but there's a member in Goodbye Mr. MacKenzie simply named Rona Scooby.
Wait.
Come on.
Before
Just her
we
actual
go back
name.
to Rona Scooby, we got to go back to Big John Duncan, because I'm reading on this page that he was in. He look at that last line there: Twisted Sister, Foo Fighters, and Ministry.
I gotta assume he was like a roadie or something.
Yeah, but
like,
still, what a
still, that's pretty sick.
what
He
an
looks
interesting
very roadie.
what an interesting
He
In
would-
the
he
early and
people.
mid-90s, he played with the Kamikaze Freak Show and the Gin Goblins.
the Gin.
Kamikaze
What?
Freak Show sounds like my kind of band too. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Oh shit, he was in 1992 and 1993. He worked as a backlight and guitar technician for the band Nirvana.
That
So maybe
checks
he
pretty
was a
good.
guitars
roadie.
in.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, again, and it makes sense why he became a guitar tech for like Foo Fighters, because like, hey, here I knew Dave from Nirvana, and Dave's like, hey, we need someone on tour. You want to come with us? Big John Duncan, and
And
Big John Duncan
we
indeed
can't-
came.
We can't stop running into dead people this episode.
And you know, I hate to give any credit to Dave Grohl because he doesn't need it at this point. But like, I'm sure that him and Kurt, like when they were in Nirvana, were like, "Oh, we got the guy from The Exploited working with us. Like, that's awesome." Like, and I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, for sure. I mean, Kurt and both those guys were like huge punk nerds.
Yeah.
Like, it would make sense. Like, oh shit, we got this guy. Like this guy that nobody else knows, but like is huge in the punk world, or
Yeah.
like for the fucking nerds. But shouts out to Big John Duncan. Shouts out to Goodbye, Mr. MacKenzie, which I'm assuming they're saying goodbye, Mr. MacKenzie, because wait, is it goodbye? Yeah, goodbye, Mr. MacKenzie. I'm gonna assume he's dead, so let's hit the music real quick. Mr. MacKenzie.
Big John Duncan kind of reminds me of Biff Whiff.
He does. He
Yeah.
does. He does look like Biff Whiff if he took like the Mario mushroom a little bit. Like,
That's Biff Whiff after he heard
He's
the Turnstile
Buff
song.
Whiff.
You've
Buff
heard
Whiff.
it. You've heard of
That was
Clark
good.
Huge. Now here's Buff Whiff.
Buff Whiff.
Oh, all right. Let's move on. This is one of the bigger bands.
We gotta talk about this after me failing to like get this playlist like perfectly airtight and like throwing in a bunch of bands that nobody cares about. I like was throwing things in and out, and eventually I caved to Alec Feldherr's demands, and we are talking about his boys. I'm gonna throw it over to him. He's gonna take the reins. I know he has a fucking manifesto on this band. It's Orange Juice. It's Rip It Up. It's an Alec Feldherr certified classic. Let's go, baby.
Easily a top 10 song. Easily a top 10 song for me. Oh my god, what a perfect song. Every single second of the song is good. Like, that synth, that drum machine, everything about this song is good. Edwin Collins, one of the original Soulful Ass White Boys, he had so many feelings, and they all just come out in his music.
I posted in our internal chat that at a certain point in making dinner and eating tonight, I was deep in a bottle of wine that I bought and started doing high kicks to this playlist in my living room, and this was the song it was like starting. This is one of the funkiest ass like songs that any Scottish person has ever thrown down. They come from a town called Bear's Den, which is one of the hardest fucking things I've ever heard in my life. And also, to me, this like a week or two ago, I had a realization that I was like, This Must Be the Place is basically David Byrne being jealous of Genius of Love and trying to steal it back for the Talking Heads. And Orange Juice, like, Rip It Up is just basically like if you synthesize the two songs into one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it
sounds like both of them put together.
Like, it would not shock me that this got sampled a couple times, like some hip hop songs. Like, this sounds very proto Genius of Love. Like,
this was like.
Well, let me look it up on who sampled.
A lot of people. I don't know. The research is good because I don't know if this was actually sampled, but like the use of this, I forget what drum machine this is, but this was like one of the first like popular uses of this specific drum machine.
The Roland TB-303.
Yeah, and a lot of these sounds are also used in like acid house music and like a lot of like dance stuff that came out of Europe and later on. You know, Aphex Twin was getting down to this. Like the bass sounds are very like Aphex Twin, like synth, like the acid. Squelchy, yeah, exactly. That little synth solo is beautiful. There's like in an 80s song, you either get like a synth solo, a weird little guitar solo, or a sax solo, and in this song you get all three. It's amazing.
Also, I looked it up on who sampled, and Rip It Up by Orange Juice has been sampled in Your Shoes by Beverly Knight featuring Chipmunk.
I don't know that one.
All right.
Yeah, okay, this is my favorite of the many solos here. Just, this is also another point that, remember that little, like, 2-note thing, because I will bring it up in a moment. Not on this song, but we'll talk about it.
We're gonna talk about that little solo?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna shout out another fallen soldier, Pete Shelley.
Oh,
here's the ones that we got.
Little tribute to Pete Shelley of the Buzzcocks there.
Yeah, this is
just grooving.
It's a perfect song. It's a perfect song. It's one of the best new wave songs. Like
5.5 minutes and you don't even realize it just because you're grooving the whole goddamn time. Like it's a beautiful experience. And it's okay, so initially I like held off on this because I was like so wedded to this idea of like what does a Scottish new wave song sound like? But his voice, he's got like such a soulful little like accent going here. There's something really deeply beautiful to it. The way that it's like got this like really high like little like wisp to the end of it, but there's such a like deepness to it at the same time. It's almost crooning. Like it's almost he's almost a crooner, and it's like, and a lot of the other songs on this album get closer to that. Like oh my god, what's the one song on this one? I Can't Help Myself is another like, it's like a straight up like R&B rip. Like they're super influenced by like just soul music in general. You know what I need is I need Jordy Group to cover this. Like he would fucking kill the cover of this. This song is too easy for Morgan though. Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
They would have to go. I mean, they did the like covers that they were doing around the time of Cavalcade. He can flex his muscles. He worked with similarly easy material drum wise. All three Orange Juice albums are Alec Feldherr essentials. If you're listening right now, all three of them are very important to the canon. He is Edwin Collins' Beautiful Soul,
He's not dead, but he did have some tragedy strike his life, where he had an aneurysm and he like completely lost the ability to like play guitar. And
shit!
did like he lost like I think he lost his speech for a while, but he gained all of that back. Like he learned like how to do that all again.
God bless him.
And
wait.
Great thing.
Section of Edwin Collins' Wikipedia page. Collaborations with Roddy Frame of Aztec Camera. There we fucking go. There's the crossover. This is a beautiful experience where we're seeing the Scottish people coming together in solidarity.
They were because they came out around the same time. Then was Haircut 100 a Scottish band? Is that what I'm reading? Oh, that's added to the list of in memoriam.
Where's Haircut 100?
Right there. Yeah.
No,
British.
It says British.
Okay,
says British.
Thank God, because I would have gone on and on about them. No, Orange Juice is great. Have you guys seen Empire Records?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, he has the one song in that. Girl Like You is in that movie, and that song, I don't like that song very much. I don't like his solo stuff very much. But Orange Juice is just too good. They were just they were just so underappreciated. Yeah, see, like lack of success. So unfortunate. But so good. Rip It Up is one of the best.
I think with like specifically with Orange Juice, like you don't get the Smiths without Orange Juice kind of like paving the way.
Ooh, it's a good point.
Like the goofy Smiths, they're like a little bit silly about it. Like that's what I don't like the Smiths that much anymore. I feel like I just can't listen to Morrissey. He just takes himself too damn seriously. And whereas Edwin Collins, I don't think he does.
You're gonna hate the new David Fincher movie, The Killer. Then.
Oh yeah, it's like all Smith songs, right?
Yeah,
I could still get down.
Which honestly, I kind of respect. Just for like, I was just listening to a lot of the Smiths when making this movie. I'll just put the fucking Smiths in the soundtrack, even if it's super obvious. Like, oh shit, I'm going to go visit my girlfriend in a coma. Immediately, the next scene is him listening to "Girlfriend in a Coma" by the Smiths in a car. Like, subtext doesn't exist. Fucking Garth Marenghi, Dark Place, like ass fucking move. Gotta respect it.
I like the another prevailing theme we're hitting on here is that we are waxing poetic about the beauty and being deeply silly. Like being serious, being artsy, that's cool. I guess I guess there's like some virtue in that if you're like doing something interesting. But like to me the most beautiful thing anybody could be is the silliest ass motherfucker you could be on the planet, and like owning that shit. And it's like that's the thing about Orange Juice is that like Rip It Up is like a song that you have all these disparate elements that like on their own could be like kind of goofy, but they are owning it with so much earnestness and so much like funk to them that it rules. It's the beauty in being kind of silly with it.
That's why I like They Might Be Giants so much, like it's all of that's the core of it. There's like your dark and evil like post-punk and like dark wave and then the industrial stuff. But that's also super duper goofy when you look into it literally at all. And like, it's just a great thing. It's like, yeah, we're all going to be goofy, but we're going to be good at it.
Speaking of silly mode, I would like to put a pin in one specific thing because I will tee this up at the end of the episode a little bit further. The last paragraph of this section that Matty is on Edwin Collins' Wikipedia page about his solo career. Collins, one of his singles, The Magic Piper (of Love) was featured on the soundtrack for Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery. We will get to this. Edwin Collins will return.
Really? Oh God! I wanted to point that out because of Gavin. I'm like, Gavin, if we lost you at all during this episode, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, it's on the soundtrack. All right. I'm very scared about how Austin Powers gets brought back up on this episode. So
it's wild because I have actually spoiled it in podcast chat, but I will talk about it at the end of this episode a little bit more. For now, let's get back to the Scottish people. We got a band from Aberdeen, Scotland here. This is another one of the like lesser known ones that I like came across in my just combing through every single band that I could. This is the Jasmine Minks, a really just nice little banger of a song called Think!
Gotta
I feel like
love
the
the
Jasmine
exclamation
Minks,
point. It's not just think, it's think.
Yeah.
Look, the Jasmine Minks, that name feels like I should be censoring that name. That feels like a Scottish slur.
That sounds like
she's a Jasmine's. I can't do a Scottish accent. Sorry. I'm just gonna say my normal accent.
The Jasmine
She's a Jasmine Mink.
The Jasmine Minks sounds like the name of a fake band in an Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I had to.
That sounds sick.
This playlist in part is like one of my like closest and best friends in the world lives like not far from Aberdeen, and so I was glad to like have one Aberdeen representation in here. This was one that I just wanted to put on here just because this is to me like one of another cool find that I like found where it's just I want something that was a little more like post-punky in terms of its like speed and like energy. I felt the playlist need a little like burst of energy here at the end.
I love the drums on this song.
Yes,
big fan of any song where the drummer is just like doing 16th notes on the hi-hat like that
the whole way through. No stop. I love the screams the vocalist is doing at the end of this track too. Is also just like really going for broke. The reason I wanted to keep this on, even after we added Rip It Up, because Rip It Up was like the missing like juice this playlist needed. No pun intended. But from this bit of the Wikipedia page for the Jasmine Minks, prior to recording, Sanderson, the vocalist guitarist, had been listening to the Buzzcocks Spiral Scratch EP and repeated the same 2-note refrain from the end of Boredom at the end of Think. Later, Edwin Collins of Orange Juice was to reference Boredom and repeat the same 2-note refrain on Orange Juice's hit single "Rip It Up." We got the Scottish synergy is real and it's happening.
That's why I shouted out my man Pete Shelley, King. Rest in peace, King. But yeah, no, Buzzcocks are also so good. That's just beside the point, though. This song is like pre-twee pop. Like it's like
it's very jangle poppy.
Yeah, it's like
post punk. Yeah,
it feels like a lot of like the twee bands of the '90s were probably into this, and like specifically like the most like well-known Scottish band I guess I know after this is probably Bell and Sebastian, and this one is so far like the most like direct link I think to them. This one, like, if you just change some of those to acoustic guitars, you would have, like, a song on Itch for Feeling Sinister.
Yeah, the chords and the, like, guitar tone specifically are, like, feel very Bell and Sebastian now that you mention it.
This was another one of the ones I didn't know beforehand, but this is definitely a band I want to check out some more. Like, if all the songs are kind of like this, I'm into this. And I like to think. So
I do like thinking. This is a band for the serious Sundays out there when you gotta be thinking.
It's for ideas.
It's for ideas.
Yeah.
That song is sick. That's all I gotta say. It's a sick ass song, and of course, it is one of the many songs on this playlist in which it's probably a band you can only find on like compilations that are on Spotify.
Yeah, there's like some albums out there that they put out from Creations. Oh shit, they put out a single.
They put out a single this year.
Wait,
on September.
Whoa, hold up. Wait,
from September 8th, 2023. They're back together. What the fuck? Unless it's like an archival thing.
They release an album next week. What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
No, it's tomorrow. What?
Oh shit.
What?
Your album of the year list, people. You cannot. Your album of the year list. Don't finalize them just yet. The Jasmine Minks are about to drop.
22 years.
Wow.
I can't stop doing this where I like bring these bands back into existence.
We single-handedly saved the Jasmine Minks. Amazing.
We're on some Nostradamus shit here, like with this podcast. We're too powerful.
This is also very good. I like this.
Solid for like a band that's like 40 years into their career, yeah.
I will say also this is one of the first bands that was on Alan McGee's Creation label. So without the Jasmine Minks, we may not have New Order, we may not have Oasis, we may not have My Bloody Valentine. So
that's right.
Just gotta put that out there on the record. But shouts out to the Jasmine Minks.
New Order would have been fine unless I was back there.
Alec Feldherr would have killed New Order.
That would have been.
I would have taken care of those guys.
That would have been the saddest thing for me, because if I killed New Order, then I would have killed Electronic and their brilliant song "Getting Away with It." But I would say Ian Curtis. I'm still absolutely sure about that.
Hell yeah! Let's keep it going. Then we got.
I have a
next?
friend who is like, he has this recurring joke where he says that he could successfully riz up Olivia Rodrigo in 3 or fewer tries, and all I've been able to think about this entire recording is like Alec being able to riz up Ian Curtis in 3 or fewer tries.
I could have done that. 3 or less tries, I think, is fair.
I've been waiting for a guy to come and riz me by the hand.
Riz will tear us apart.
Alec Rizzler.
Jalek Rizzler. Jalek Division.
Jalek what if instead of the Riddler, he was called the Rizzler and he just tried to flirt with Batman? Well, he kind of just does that already in the Batman 2022. He very much wants to fuck Robert Pattinson Batman really bad in that movie.
I mean, don't we all?
Wait,
that's facts.
The Riddler was in that movie?
Yeah, the Riddler is the main villain in the new Batman movie.
I saw it, but I don't remember it at all.
I mean, it is a long movie.
Yeah, Paul Dano. I remember now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Paul Dano.
I'm back.
Paul Dano. Paul Bufano.
He was good. Yeah, he was a good part of that. I like that part. He was good. He's good in everything.
Yeah, Paul
when
Dano.
I remember
Beast.
him.
Beast actor. Great in The Fabelmans. Great as Brian Wilson in Love and Mercy. But look, we're not talking movies. We're not talking Paul Dano. We're talking Paul Bufano, but like for Scottish people. What's the next song?
But wait, actually, before we move on to the next song, last thing about Paul Dano is I think he could play a Scottish guy pretty well. If we were going to do like, he could have been
the face. He's got the face.
Yeah, like he could be like in the Aztec camera biopic, like the other guitar player or something.
Yeah, I could see that. I buy it. I would not question it. To get onto the last couple tracks here. This is another one that unfamiliar with this band before digging in. This like might be, other than Somewhere in My Heart and the last song on this playlist, probably my like stealth favorite song on here. I have like been mesmerized by this weird beguiling ass song. This is the Associates from Dundee, Scotland with Party Fears 2. Every part of this song sounds like it should be like wrong, and yet it's so arresting, and I can't make sense of it. I can't understand what is happening here, but I love it. I love Billy MacKenzie, the vocalist's voice is just. I need to dig more into them, because I need to know if like this is just how his voice sounds, or if he's like just really great at projecting like this. Like, it is I don't know. We talked about like people from the British Isles who are like, and the greater United Kingdom, who have like very idiosyncratic voices, and it's like, where was this guy's voice like all my life? It's like sometimes you think you've heard all the voices in the world, and then you hear this shit and you're like, what is this guy doing?
This sounds like content-aware David Byrne. Like, he sounds like David Byrne if you keep messing with like the fucking sliders on the pitch a little bit, you know.
He's like wailing, and I love that. Like it's like a ghost.
Yeah,
like a ghost singing, and it's cool.
It's very opera.
It's very.
He's like the Klaus Nomi of post-punk.
He's got like the only other thing the only album I've listened to by the Associates is like their not their rarities comp, but it's like their early work compilation, the Fourth Thrower Down one, and it's very much not like this. It's very much like way more experimental and like minimal than this. And I have to listen to this stuff because this is like it's like much more like Sparks than anything else to me, and I love that. So this is like just fun, gothy art pop, and I love that.
Yeah, this is to me like basically like if you took like the Smiths and the Cure in a blender, like I'd just put somebody who was like on a tilt-a-whirl and mic'd him up. Like,
I can't believe a human being sounds like this. This is fucking crazy.
No, I want to keep it to a minimum because this is the one where like Billy MacKenzie did commit suicide in 1997. So I'm trying to be respectful here, but it's also like to me the greatest testament I could say for his performance is I'm listening to this shit now like 40 years divorced, and I'm still like I do not know how you as a human being can sound like this. This is genuinely like deeply impressive.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's like yeah, whoever said opera was right, but like faux opera. Like we're gonna pretend to be opera singers. Super
rock
thematic,
opera in a way.
Like super like theatric performance. And that's like, you know, and all these guys would come out on stage, you know, with like crazy makeup, like their face is painted, just like acting, and like it's great. Like these guys would probably come out dressed like Dracula or something doing this. and like that's what's beautiful about it. I keep saying beautiful, but like we keep going back to it. This is inherently goofy music.
Damn, y'all hear that high note?
Yeah, no, unreal. This was a band that was made to be like an opener at some random set I would go to, like a little stoned and just be like totally mesmerized out of my mind, just being like, what the fuck is happening here? I need to know everything about this band in an instant. Like that to me is the greatest tragedy, is that like if I went high out of my mind to an associate show and like I had this song happen to me and I would hear this voice in a live setting, I think it genuinely would shatter my brain. Like the one note I want to pull up from the Wikipedia entry from this is that apparently the end of the song, the sound effects you hear are 3 cups being spatched and then MacKenzie spinning out his chewing gum. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know why that's in there.
Also, I'm reading the bio on Spotify, which is written by Simon Reynolds. So that's a real UK ass moment there. But Billy MacKenzie passed away in 1997. So Billy MacKenzie, got to add that to the list of dead
also
guys.
The other main guy from the band, Alan Rankin, also passed earlier this year, sadly.
Billy MacKenzie, Alan Rankin.
This is not a death thing, but the backing vocalist that you hear, Martha Ladley, is from a band called Martha and the Muffins. That's all I wanted to share.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's. I was gonna say, that's a deep Alec pull there.
Whoa! I didn't know that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
They're not on streaming. They're not on streaming. They're barely
Martha
on
the
streaming.
Muffins? Yeah, they are.
They have like one album on streaming that's from like their golden era.
Yeah.
Martha and the Muffins, I did not realize there was a connection there. That's amazing. Martha and the Muffins, insanely underrated band. Everyone needs to listen to This Is the Ice Age. Brought the world Daniel Lanois, producer on like the Joshua Tree. Awesome album. I'm pretty sure all of you would like that album, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the people in the Discord, a lot of the listeners probably like that album. It's super duper like underrated. Classic Canadian band.
We worked the my Planetary group. We worked the recent compilation from 2021. We did work that to radio. So
yeah, very much Echo Beach, underrated 80s hit. That might be the only song a lot of people know by them because that's on like a lot of new wave comps. But yeah,
45 million streams compared to the rest, which is like all under. Almost all of them are under 100. Like aside from like 4 songs, all are under like 100,000.
What a wonderful surprise for me today that I get to talk about Martha and the Muffins publicly. Yeah,
it's in the history books. But to me, this is the beauty of this playlist is I can throw off something that I think is just like a silly name or a joke, and Alec Feldherr will like come right in and be like, oh, this band that I have this like deep affinity for. That's beautiful. This is a beautiful like moment here we're sharing in, and I'm very glad I can enable this, like genuinely from the bottom of my heart. This is what it's all about.
Martha and the Muffins. So good. Yeah, no, thank you for doing that to me. That brought me right back in. Like I'm still in. Like don't fear.
That's okay. We have one song left, and there's the song that is impossible to be asleep during because it is basically the 80s new wave equivalent of like being shocked with a defibrillator for nearly 5 minutes.
Yeah, this is one of those songs where like if you put it on and like if someone like was like, oh, all the 80s music sounds the same. It's just so like, it sounds so like reverby and bad. Like this would be the example that like, yeah, you're right, but also it's so awesome that it works.
Yeah, I was in preparation for the podcast, I listened to a good chunk of this album and I was like, damn, these guys they had the juice. They were just going for broke. We look, it's a playlist of Scottish music, predominantly Scottish music. I don't want to like downplay or conflate the couple of Irish influences here, but if we're talking Scottish music, we're talking 80s new wave, baby, we gotta talk about, and there was no better song to close this out than In a Big Country, Sha.
So good.
This is my favorite ad-libs in any music ever. Like this, he's fucking. I will go around the house just saying, "Shiga, watch out!"
You were posting that in the group chat for this episode, for a while, and like, before I listened to this, I was like, what is this a reference to? I don't get it. And then I listened to the song and I was like, oh, I get it. Not just in the sense of like, oh, now I understand what she's referencing, but like, I also feel the spirit of Gia, 1, 2.
It's infectious. The fucking snare mixing on this song is insane. Like, I genuinely cannot believe that you can make drums sound like this. Big Country. It's this fucking song. Shout out to Rock Band 3, a Rock Band 3 classic, I gotta say, which is the way I first came into the song. Also shout out Dunfermline, which is getting its second shout out of the night. Big Country from the same spot as the Skids. They went in they rolled around the same circles.
It's the same guy.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the singer. It's Stuart Adamson.
What? No!
Yeah, Stuart Adamson was the singer
in
both bands.
Kidding
me?
Holy shit. Okay, I did not realize that. That's...
this is such an amazing song. It's like, this is, like they keep talking about on the mountainside. This is the kind of song you scream on the mountainside. Like,
yeah. And this is the one where this to me was the defining thing of the playlist, because I wanted something like this that sounded very firmly new wave, but also like the band and its like guitar tone specifically, they say they want to like get this sound of like bagpipes and fiddles, all these like traditional like Scottish instruments, like bits like this, you could just hear them being wailed on a bagpipe, but when they're being ripped from a guitar, they just the
live videos of them doing this song are just so amazing. Like that one guitar tone where it's like the staccato, like the like that stuff with all the delay, it sounds like a synth. Like it doesn't sound, these don't sound like guitars half the time. It's amazing. Big music.
Big music.
Big music.
Big music is so beautiful.
Big country, big music.
Love it.
And like, there's never been a more apt descriptor for music than big music. I feel like anytime I see something described as big music, that's exactly what it is. Like this, U2, like later Echo and the Bunnymen, it's just huge, and like it's supposed to be played off giant speakers. You're supposed to scream that shit off a mountaintop. epic.
Again, it shocks the mountainside. Like, how do you not hear this song and immediately just get inflated with the spirit of the spirit of just Scottish Highland just surging through your blood. Like, it's a thing of beauty. I would also like to point out another bit of like connection between everything that we've been talking about here. One of the singles on, I believe, The Crossing is called Fields of Fire 400 Miles. It's the little Proclaimers bit going there.
But it's 20% off.
The Scottish people love walking.
They just walk everywhere.
They love to walk in a big country. They love to walk for 500 miles and 500 more, I should say. They love to walk.
Hold on. Scroll down, Matty. Scroll down.
Yes.
Yep,
American authors version.
No.
Oh,
No, okay.
Can I spit about American authors for a minute?
We will. Let's. Okay.
Can I say something about American authors?
Let me read this, and I will let you go from here.
Okay.
In a Big Country was covered by American alternative rock band American Authors in 2014, with a split single by the Mowgli's, who covered "You Make My Dreams Come True." Go ahead, Alec. I just want to make sure so people understand why I'm saying no.
All right. So American Authors, I don't know anything about them other than it's going to be the best day of their life. But they played at my school, my college, SUNY Oneonta, when I was there, and it was the big fall concert, and they put it in the big room, the big like sports hall. I forgot what the sports area was called, and it's a big deal, and everyone was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have American authors coming." This was in like 2018, so like nobody cared, and I believe the grand total of attendees was 6. And that's not including like the people who were working there. Like it was like 6 people bought a ticket to go. Big shame for us. But that's my one little thing about American authors.
Ugh, God, let me see if I can find this on Spotify.
I'm pretty sure I've heard this cover.
It's either like extremely faithful, in a way that's just very boring, or it is them putting the fucking best day of my life sheen, which also
I'm pretty sure it's them doing like a pretty similar riff, but with their like production, like overproduction,
Yeah, they also put an album this year called Best Night of My Life.
Whoa.
Which fuck you, fuck off.
It's a 10 song 27 minutes album. It's so over.
Yeah. Let's see. In a Big Country, where the fuck is
Go
this?
big or go home.
It's where the hang on. Let me give me just a second as I try to find this. I assume it's on YouTube. It was only released on 7-inch vinyl, but I assume it's probably on
Somebody
YouTube
has
somewhere.
got it, yeah.
This is important
I vaguely
history.
remember hearing it on car commercial radio when I was in high school. So it's probably on streaming. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's not as good Shaw. The Shaw's not nearly as good there.
How do you make the snare sound bigger and worse? Is he doing faux Scottish?
Oh my
hell no,
God,
they gentrified it
he
in a big
is.
country. They gentrified it,
They
man.
gentrified the whole country.
They're calling it in a big city now. Oh
I hate
my
that
God.
clapping.
He's so doing a fake Scottish accent. Oh my God.
This is like an insult to the man's memory.
This is
Yeah.
like,
This should be considered cultural appropriation.
and this is the crux of what we're talking about. Like, it's silly music. They're not selling it. He's not selling it like Stuart Adamson does. I don't believe that every single hope of mine is shattering when he says it.
Oh, the synths! Oh no! Oh,
They didn't need synths back then. Oh, this is
This is dreadful.
Cut it!
Oh,
Can we let's play back in a big country again.
The top comment is a pretty big own. The original feels so intimate. This one's about as intimate as a dance club.
This is
burn. That's a major burn.
Now I kind of wish 5 people showed up to the show. Do you think they played that?
God. I mean,
I gotta look it up. Hold on.
Maybe.
Nobody got a set list for this show. Nobody got a set list. No one was there.
Let's check Setlist FM for American authors. Which I will say,
the only person who would have been doing that would have been me if I was there. Like,
noted American author stan Alec Feldherr.
I have to get the set list at the end of the show.
Here we go. At Weichfest. Okay, the Salt Shed. Let's see.
They played Mr. Brightside?
Well,
of course they did.
They're white. They're white.
They have to appeal to their people.
Let's see.
And Coldplay.
They have not, at least according to unless I spelled it wrong, they have not played in a big country at all during any of their live shows. So seems like they only did it for for this cover and haven't. Maybe they were so ashamed of what they did. They're like, fuck that.
To steal Scottish Valor.
I know.
They covered Shut Up and Dance.
Scroll back down to the never mind.
Hang on, I'll pull it back up. Give me 1 second.
I was gonna say it's very funny that Setlist FM considers Happy Birthday to You to be a cover of Mildred J. Hill and Patty Hill, who wrote Happy Birthday in the 30s.
No, that is a thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you don't understand. It's a thing where last year when I took my girlfriend to go see My Chemical Romance, they apparently do that for like fans. They like sing Happy Birthday if there's like a fan's like, oh, it's my birthday today. And like I took it off of like the physical set, like because I had a physical set list that I got, and I'm like, this isn't a thing. Like it's just like some like mega fan, like rabid fan uploaded it like there, and I'm like, it's not a thing. It's just like it's a thing they do between songs. They don't like play Happy Birthday. They like sing it for 15 seconds and then move on with their lives. And like people got like rabid like on my ass in the comments where they're like, no, you don't understand. This like means so much. Like that Happy Birthday to You is in this set list. And I was like, okay, back off. Like, why are you? It's a thing. Apparently, Setlist FM nerds get really rabid about it.
It's not even like a thing with Setlist FM. I think it's like a copyright thing. It's somebody, they own the copyright to that song. That's why you don't hear it. It actually did go into
the public domain recently, but
it did.
But yeah, it's like Setlist FM is so they're such a stickler for their rules that they have to acknowledge the fact that it was written by Mildred J. Hill and Patty Hill.
I mean, they're the originals. Like. They really wrote an all-timer with that one. Like, has anybody written a better birthday song since? Like, be real. Like,
we got to do the Mildred J. Hill podcast. Like, let's get the playlist together of all our hits.
God, what was the tweet that popped up recently? Being like, I asked a 3-year-old what their favorite music was. And he's like, I don't know, the Happy Birthday song, maybe.
That's a good song. I mean, like, I'm always singing it on people's birthdays. Like,
I mean, yeah.
You can't be in my posse if you don't fuck with Happy Birthday. I'm sorry.
I think we should replace Happy Birthday to You, that song, with the Red Robin birthday song. The Red Robin birthday choir.
This to me is noise music.
Yeah, this has the same energy as those fucking sorority videos. Like, we're so happy to have you here, and it's just the most terrifying choir of women you've ever heard.
This is a more disorienting version of the scene in Inland Empire where they all start doing the locomotion.
God. All right, let's wrap it up. The Scottish and the British, they're very good. Make good music.
I wanna do I have a small segment I would like to do before the end of the day. I want to shout out a couple of this is my in memoriam segment for the ones we lost along the way. They're not all dead, but we just didn't talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Strawberry Switchblade, The Blue Nile, Lloyd Cole and the Commodores, Joseph K, Simple Minds, The Ravillos, The Rosillos, and APB. All of these bands are also from the Scottish Highlands, and today we remember you, especially Strawberry Switchblade.
Yeah, that one was especially like that was on me. I'm not gonna make an excuse. I goofed up. I like made a playlist and Alec was like Strawberry Switchblade and Alec will get his revenge one day. Alec will make a playlist centered around Strawberry Switchblade and that'll be the day.
That'd be a we could just play the whole album on an episode and that'd pretty much be an episode. But I will be returning eventually. I do have a plan. If we ever do another New Wave episode, I already have the plan in mind for I mentioned it earlier, but a Down Under Outback New Wave Deathmatch where we talk about like the Hoodoo Gurus and like Split Ends.
Ooh, okay.
And just like Men at Work. Men at Work is an important one. Men at Work is going to be the equivalent.
I mean, you do have Dave Grohl. I do believe you have Dave Grohl fan club privilege for playlisting. So, I mean, you make a playlist, you send it to us, we'll fucking throw it on the schedule.
Eventually, we hit some new wave now, and my soul is satiated.
Yeah, if we're talking Men at Work, I'm so back because they are just they are the framework. They are the foundation. We gotta pay respects.
They'd be like the equivalent of like the Proclaimers on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's
I was like the one song from, but they're actually sick.
Them.
But yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for supplementing this. I do want to point out the one artist that I could not find a place for because they are firmly a decade ahead, but in my research I came across this extremely sick post-punk proto-gremlin band, Dog-Faced Hermans. Hum of Life is their single album.
So good.
I think that might be their only one. They might have another, I don't really know, but they have just incredible fucking sound where basically it's this really bass heavy, like hard hitting, just like gremlin-y sound to them that has a lot of like trumpets and shit, and their front woman is basically like howling and barking and doing all this like very wild vocal. Listen to Jan 9, which is the opening song on that album and is like probably one of the greatest songs I've heard in my life. Like genuinely unreal fucking song.
Like they're on the proggier end of the post-punk spectrum, and I always respect that. I also recommend this band. They are insane. Like very few, if any, bands sound like them. Like they are truly like one of those one-of-a-kind bands.
Yeah. And I do want to we talked about the Oceanic New Wave Deathmatch, but I do want to also mention if this playlist is a little too like fawning toward the positive, not very bit heavy, I do want to say that mostly because every single time I went to go to this playlist I made as a joke for a bit in the podcast chat that has since never left my mind is also it keeps popping up and I'm like, fuck it, we're gonna do this as a real thing and it's gonna be dumb and stupid. My next contribution to this is probably just going to be Austin Powers music. It's music from and for the Austin Powers soundtrack. Matty, would you like let me I'm gonna make some loud clacky keyboard noises, but I will read off the current lineup as it stands, which I should say I'm
gonna censor what you say and then we'll just have my reaction. Just so we don't spoil this for the listeners.
Okay. So we got Quincy Jones, Soul Bossa Nova, aka The Theme, the OG. We gotta lead off with that. We got one of many Burt Bacharach songs here. We've got I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Because like Austin Powers loves his Burt Bacharach.
Yeah.
We got Austin Powers Band and Gold member Ming T with Daddy Wasn't There. A classic that every Austin Powers head knows.
Classic tune.
Madonna's Beautiful Stranger, her single that very, very memorably was made for The Spy Who Shagged Me. The Dr. Evil version of Hard Knock Life. Again, classic. You can't have a playlist without it.
Come on.
Soul Bossa Nova again. This time it's a dance mix.
I can't get enough of that. Like
All right, I'm not censoring any of this. It's okay if people
I haven't
know.
seen the Austin Powers movies, but the amount of times you're going to play Soul Bossa Nova, I'm with it. Like,
oh, just wait. Hold
Check
on.
it out now. Soul Bossa Nova.
Okay, here. I'm gonna pull up my like Spotify version because I made the one I posted in chat was just like a joke one. I still didn't know like half of these song titles. Let's see here. What the World Needs Now Is Love, another Burt Bacharach classic, of course. The Dr. Evil mix of Just the Two of Us, again, another classic. I forgot to mention it. I forgot to mention it in here, but around the midpoint, I forgot that They Might Be Giants did the Dr. Evil song that's at the beginning of The Spy Who Shagged Me, so we gotta have that. That's
Let's
classic.
go.
Green Day's Espionage, which I did not realize was a thing that they made for these movies.
Fuck yes.
And then, of course, we are closing with the most beautiful song of this entire thing. You might want to censor this one. This is...
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. All right. That one, I will censor that one, because that one is... Yeah, we gotta save that one. We gotta save that one for the occasion.
That's gotta be a surprise for the listeners. But
yeah.
This is... I needed something chaotic as a chaser after all of this. This is a playlist that's going to be called Oh Behave. So stay tuned for that. This was me indulging my nerdier side, and now we're gonna go full bit mode.
Yeah, it was nice to have the Indieheads podcast be an indie music podcast again for just one episode before we go back to the bits on our next one. Although I will say we got of course we have 2 episodes coming up. One that myself and friend of the show Delaney Mothman just recorded. We're doing an FYC episode on the new Truth Club album, Running from the Chase, where we interviewed the band. So that's gonna be coming out on Wednesday for our Patreon supporters, and then the next Wednesday for everybody else. And then our episode next week is The Nightmare Before Christmas, as we're finally talking Richard Honig, who has been a character in the Discord that I purposely have not learned about. I purposely have tried to keep my
it's worth it. It's worth it.
That's the thing.
I want to wait to get the full experience on the podcast.
Exactly.
It's like a palate cleanser.
Exactly. Like it's very much like a Steam thing where it's like where myself and Alex did not watch the Steam music video until we recorded that episode. So it's like I want to save my reaction to Richard for the first time for that episode. Like, because he's been one of our guys in the chat for a very long time. And there is we did come up with an evil idea for the podcast. Or I did, which we may or may not do. Which is like gotta get that sequel. I will not say what song it is, but it is I gotta get that on maybe the most evil guy that we found so far.
You need to do honestly, I think you guys should do like a together kind of thing, like Barbenheimer, like because the name that we will not mention right now is, you're right, like filth. It's particularly evil.
Yeah.
Like, to the point
I'll censor
where,
this in post, but you're saying like Richard Honig, like Barbenheimer event.
Yeah, like you get a little
get them in the studio together.
You all feel dirty after that for a little bit. You're like, why do we listen to this?
I think it'd be tough to get in the studio with Richard Honig because might be dead for all we know. His online presence is like takes a fucking cliff dive in the last like 3 or 4 years, but we'll get there when we get there. But it was mentioned as a joke in the chat, and I really wish that I had time to like do a last minute episode where we do gotta get that on, and then have it be like addressing Jackie's comments on Miley Cyrus that Grant came up with, where again we're like, hey, we're gonna get to what Jackie said about Miley Cyrus, we're gonna address the Miley Cyrus stance, and then just talk about for the entire time. Like, I wish we had time to do that. We do not, but we do have time, of course, for Truth Club FYC and The Nightmare Before Christmas, along with a great slate of episodes for the rest of the month until we get to our Album of the Year season stuff, or the end of the year season stuff, because of course we have Nightmare Before Christmas. We have a bonus episode, which I will not reveal this time. I'll reveal next week. Garage Rock, Would You Revive Me? Proper British episode in it.
I'm very
which
fascinated.
Is the sequel to this.
I'm very fascinated by that. I'm very fascinated.
I think the joke that I made to Grant in chat is we are going to figure out what the fuck is going on in the United Kingdom between these two episodes.
Yeah.
Can I know what you guys got on that list? Can I know?
What's on proper British episode in it? Yeah, let's see. We won't say anything. I'll just let you react. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's essentially a
British. Yeah.
It's essentially a landfill indie episode for the most part.
Naive. Naive is a good song.
Yeah. So there, fucking old Greg. Old Greg is the goddamn image. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to this episode. We will see you all next week. And bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I